everyone. Welcome to Sembrando Salud 2021. My name is Emma Dewey, and I am the Farming Advisor for the Center of Southwest Culture. In this video, we'll be discussing the basics of making compost. So why should you compost? Composting at home reduces waste and encourages helpful bacteria and fungi to break down organic materials into nutrient-rich humus, the dark-colored ingredient in healthy soil that feeds plants, makes plants more resilient against diseases and pests, and helps soil retain moisture. Using compost reduces the need for expensive fertilizers, is very easy to make, and doesn't cost anything. So how do you get started? If you have outdoor space, you ideally want to choose a spot that is out of the way where pets and other animals can't get to it. You can use a compost tumbler if you have one. Start out with collecting some materials for your pile. You'll need some twigs or small sticks and green and brown materials. Brown materials are usually things that are dry, like fallen leaves, old straw or hay, even dryer lint or shredded paper, and eggshells. Green materials are usually fresh things like veggie scraps, old leftovers from the fridge, weeds, animal manure, coffee grounds, or used tea bags. First, put down a layer of twigs and small sticks the size you want your compost pile to be. Skip this step if you're using a compost tumbler. The sticks on the bottom create airflow through the bottom of your pile to increase the activity of good bacteria and fungi. They will break down over time. Once you have your sticks down, cover them with a layer of brown materials. For this pile, we're using some leaves that we just raked up from the yard. Cover your first brown layer with some green materials. Some of the green materials we're using in this pile are trimmings from some vines that were getting too big, some green chili skins, and limon peels. Keep building your layers, switching between green and brown materials until your compost pile is the size you'd like it to be. Your top layer should always be brown materials. Remember that you can continue to add to it over time, so it doesn't have to be done yet. Keeping your pile moist will ensure that the bacteria and the fungi in your compost stay active, helping to break down your materials faster. You want to make sure that your compost is about as wet as a sponge after you squeeze the water out. Any less and the materials won't break down. Any more water will increase bad bacteria that makes compost smell bad. Once you're done, you should try to keep it covered with something breathable so that it doesn't dry out and animals aren't as attracted to it. Cardboard works great, or you can use old sheets or a worn-out tarp. So let's go over some common questions about composting. What can you compost? Well, the better question might be, what can't you compost? You never want to put anything chemically treated in your compost pile because you'll be growing food that you eat in your compost. Don't put any animal products in there, like bones, meat, grease, or dairy products, because these will attract more pests and make your compost smell terrible. And while it's okay to put weeds in your compost, don't put weeds in there that have started producing seeds. Otherwise, when you spread your compost in your garden, you'll also be spreading more weeds. And lastly, don't put any plastic, glass, or metal in your compost pile, including biodegradable bags, cups, and straws. Most of those products are designed to be composted in an industrial facility. When it comes to pests, compost piles can attract all kinds of visitors. But as long as you stick to compostable materials and always cover your green layers with a brown layer, you shouldn't have much concern for pests. You will see a lot of bugs in your compost pile, but even the grub you see in this video is not necessarily a bad guy. Grubs, worms, and even maggots are decomposers and help break down your compost faster. If you see a lot of them, you may need to add more brown materials to your compost or reduce the amount of moisture. You want to turn your pile every 2 to 4 weeks so that all of the materials in your pile can break down evenly. For a small pile, you should have finished compost within a couple of months or sooner. A large pile can take up to a year to break down. You'll know it's ready when it has a rich, earthy smell, a dark brown color, it crumbles in your hands, and there are no recognizable materials in there. A little goes a long way, so you can sprinkle it around your plants or mix them into your soil before you plant. And that is how you compost. Thank you for watching and happy gardening.